So, Jared, how did Aporia all come about?
Aporia came about, well, do you want to know how the story came about or how we...
Yeah, how the story came about. Yeah.
Sure. So it came about from sort of two different ideas, two different things at the same time. One was I had just become a dad. My son was about a year old when I started coming up with this story. And I was sort of grappling with what it was to be a parent. And suddenly the world became a lot scarier and a lot more uncertain. And I was wrestling with that a lot. And I wanted to find a way to put that into a story. And I wasn't sure quite how to do that. And then I remembered this idea I'd had for a long time, which was like a gun that could murder people in the past. And I never really wanted to, I didn't know what to do with that idea. Cause like, I was like, well, I don't want to go to some big giant spade place. And I sort of thought, okay, what happens if you have a parent who's trying to use this thing, this machine to fight the uncertainty in their life, to like get something back to a world they understand and they can control, and explore what that means.
And the casting for Emporia is fantastic. You got a fantastic Judy Greer, and I hope I say his name right. Is it Eddie? How you pronounce it?
Eddie, yeah.
Yeah, and Eddie, I think, stole the movie whenever he was on the scene. He just had this dominant force about his performance in Emporia. And the daughter of Faith, right? Is that how you pronounce it? Yes, he did a fantastic job as well. So how did the casting process all come about?
The casting process was really, it was really fun. We had great support from our partners, and they really believed in Judy Greer when I wanted to get her on board. I've been a huge fan of Judy forever. She's such a talented actor. I think I don't even remember the first movie I saw her in, but I've always felt like she steals her scenes. And then I've always remembered that moment at the end of The Descendants when she comes in and sees George Clooney, and sees George Clooney and her husband and his wife who's in a coma, and like she has to be both funny and also just like heart-wrenching. And she like kind of looks at him and gives, I know. And there's so much she does in that moment. I was just like blown away by that performance there. And so when I was trying to think about the right actor to bring Sophie to life, Judy kind of came to mind because also she's the character. She's always on the side of movies mostly. She's always like, to the side. And part of what my idea with this story is like, we're looking at people who you don't usually look at, right? We're looking at the neighborhoods that we cut through on our way to work. Not the neighborhoods where we usually live, or not where we usually live, not the neighborhoods where we most things are filmed in LA.
Right.
So we got Judy, and Judy has she's got so much energy, right? Like she's a very performer. She brings a lot with her face. And I've been a huge fan also of Eddie's work because Eddie has a stillness, this really great stillness. And if like Judy acts with her face, Eddie acts with his eyes. And I thought they would really complement each other well, because to me, their relationship of Sophie and Mal was sort of this sort of calmer, still more of the rock, or felt like the rock in the family. And Sophie's more the wild energy, running around and trying to and I thought they would really just embrace that together. And I was so excited that I was able to get both of them. And then Payman Mahdi has been, just a superstar, in A Separation. He's just like, I can watch that movie a million times and watch his performance. He was my first choice to play Jabir. And when we got him, I was just like, holy crap, this is the perfect trio. Like, they're going to be great together. And then we so excited to get Faith Herman as well. Faith, trying to find someone who could bring Riley to life is tough, because you have to have some actor who can deal with the emotion of someone who's she's two different types of people. There's one where she's in mourning and struggling to figure out what the world is like, after losing her father. And then she's just like a excited 12, 13-year-old girl. And I just loved how Faith could switch between those two modes so well. And, I think probably it's the experience she's had being a working actor for so long.
Right. And the story for this is really cool to see because it's that age-old, timeless story. What can go wrong if you play God, right? Like with the past and everything. So how was it like filming that story on Aporia?
Well, it's funny, it's like, how can things go wrong? One of the things we wanted to do, one of my choices when I was talking to my DP, Nick Buck, when we were trying to figure out how the look of the film was, I wanted it to be very handheld and sort of have like a little bit of a documentary feel, like this is actually could be happening. And we wanted to embrace a little bit of camera mistakes. So I gave him the freedom, a lot of it just to move and be, let the camera move a little bit. And if it like moves off and then comes back, that's okay. Let's embrace the thing, like the things can go wrong, the imperfections in the world. Cause like, this is a story that usually is told in a very grand way. And we wanted to tell it in a way that was just very grounded and real. And that's also why we, chose these locations, like the house we shot in, is just like, it's a real house. It's a real family's house. We wanted something that felt like it was, kind of got stuck. It's like they were trying, they're renting it. They've been renting it forever. It's like certain parts look like they need to be completely remodeled and certain parts look like they've been fixed up. And that sort of sense of, that sense of things being incomplete.
And how does it feel having Aporia play at the Fantasia International Film Festival, which is like a legendary genre film festival, right? And for a film like Aporia, which is more a science fiction drama, that has to be kind of eye-opening as well. And that they were like, yeah, we'll play this as well.
Well, they found love. Like Mitch was just so excited, and he was like about the movie from the second he saw it, which I absolutely loved. And I'm really excited to be at Fantasia. I think it's very cool to have something that's a little different here. I do think it's a genre film, which is really cool because it is a sci-fi genre film, but it's unexpected in the way it's a genre film. And I'm really just, I think it's going to be a fun screening, and I think people are going to walk out of it very surprised by what they're feeling.
Yeah, and going back on that, I agree. It is very subtle in the way that it does become a genre film. So how was it like juggling all these elements in Aporia?
It was tough. I remember we like sat, my production designer and I had two production designers on the film. There was Katie Simon and Ariel Vida, and Katie sort of handled, and there's so much production design. Ariel did the machine. She was like, okay, she's the machine person, and Katie was the world. And Katie and I sat down and went through the script and the scenes and walked through everything. And we're like, all right, this is the reality they're in now. Let's talk about how it emotionally could change. And we'd come up with ideas and how the world could change. What are the little things that you could do that like would have changed their life? And so we created this very detailed sort of breakdown of the different realities they are creating for themselves in the course of the story. And then, we'd move through it as we were making the script, and we tried to shoot it based on reality. So we weren't like jumping back and forth from different place to place. And also I think it allowed for the characters, the actors that way to emotionally be correct, because, they're emotional. Sophie has the same memories throughout mostly, but for the other characters, it changes.
Right. And you're playing tonight at Fantasia. So what are you looking forward to from that screening?
God, I'm just looking forward to share this with the world. This has been a journey to get it to this big screen, and I'm so excited that the audience will be able to see it. And I hope afterwards everyone will go home and hug their loved ones.
All right. Jared, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really fun, and congratulations on Aporia.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful.